Hey, thanks for sticking with us after the break. We have a guy that's well known to our area. He may not be well known to Bulldog Nation, but he is somebody from our area that has some deep, legit roots in the hoops arena. And we are proud to have him on our podcast this week. And Lane and I go back several years. We know each other through a mutual friend and the No family. Of course, he's now part. I guess, are you part of the No family, or are they a part of yours? I
I
I
don't know.
think
We
you.
got we got a group chat that says no/blue family. So I
So
don't know. They
they're
still
kind of like the.
outnumber us.
I was gonna say it's kind of like the mafia, man. Once you're in, you're kind of in. You don't get out, right?
No doubt, no doubt. I got initiation from Chase, so he beat me up when I was in high school.
Right, right. All right, let me read our intro about our guest. Today's guest has Southeast Missouri roots, a legit basketball journey. He's making noise at the high level of college hoops. Lane Ballou is the head men's basketball coach at Gulf Coast State College.
A little better.
In his first season leading the Commodores, he guided them to a 23-10 record and a run to the FCSAA Region 8 championship game while helping 9 players earn scholarships to four-year schools, including 7 to Division I programs. Lane's story starts a lot closer to home. He's from Advance, Missouri, played for the legendary Gene Bess at Three Rivers and Poplar Bluff, and then finished his playing career at Ole Miss. He later joined Ole Miss staff as a GA and was part of the NCAA tournament team before coaching stops at Mississippi Gulf Coast and championship level Chipola. Lane brings the same Southeast Missouri toughness and humility everywhere he goes, and I'm excited for you all to hear his story, how he got into coaching, and what he's building at Gulf Coast. Lane, welcome to the
Welcome to the
Doghouse.
dog.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, it's been quite quite a run for you. So you graduated high school in 14 or
14.
14?
Yep,
Okay, so you
2014.
so you and Hannah graduated the same year then, right?
We did. We did. Yep.
Now I'm trying to think back, and I didn't do my research on this. She was an all-stater once or twice, right?
Yeah, definitely our senior year for sure. I don't know about junior, maybe possibly, but definitely our senior year.
Were you all-state as well?
Yep,
And
yep. We were both all state. She was the one year she was player of the year for volleyball and basketball, and then I was the Southeast Missourian player of the year also my senior year, and then Advance was class two at the time, so I made the all state team for that as well.
okay, that's the reason I was asking, because my good friend Brian James, who's one of the assistant coaches for Sikeston, his wife Emily was an all-stater in basketball at Kelly, and she always says, there's only, and he played basketball in Sikeston. She goes, there's only one all-stater at our house. So, but you can't say that. You can't say that at your house.
No
Um,
doubt.
so you played high school. Obviously, you had lots of accolades at Advance and all that stuff. So tell us a little bit about the basketball community at Advance. I know a little bit about it. I know go back in the like 50s and whatever, they had a huge, you got a long history there. Do you know, tell us about some of that, how that shaped you, kind of what you were doing at Advance.
Yeah, you think of Advance Hoops as you go back, way back, you would say Pete Ritter, who's the all-time leading scorer at SEMO as well. And he was actually close to our family. And, even when I was in high school, he was still playing horse with me and beating me while he was 70 some years old. And so
Right.
he could really, really shoot it. And then, you kind of fast forward to the 70s, you had the Cookson brothers coaching, Carol and Ronnie, and
Yeah.
they went to the state tournament a couple of times, won a few state titles, and then had some good teams in between there, but really had kind of had a dry spell. Had a really good team in 2000 and won the Christmas tournament and Garrett
Was that the
Brushhouse.
Brush House? Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So he was there, and then in 2006, yeah, 2006 they went to the Final Four, and
Oh,
then really from there was kind of a dry spell until my senior year, and we'd kind of finished second in the district multiple times and couldn't quite get over the hump. Orion had some really good teams, and Bernie
mm-hmm.
prior to that, and we won the district title my senior year and beat Orion, and then we played New Haven in the Sweet 16 and beat them, and then played Thayer for a chance to go to the Final Four and lost on a buzzer beater, unfortunately, in the Elite Eight. And so
Oh my gosh.
um, it was crazy. The guy that hit the shot, that was his first basket of the game. And so we had
Uh,
we had we had hit a shot, went up by two, and they called a timeout, 5 seconds to go, and advanced the ball up the court and threw it to the corner, and a guy banged a three at the horn to end our senior year. But I think that breakthrough kind of started Advance. You know, the next year they go to the Final Four, or the next year, like they had a couple years from there on out. We kind of got over the hump, and
yep,
Coach Bubba Wheatley did a great job and kind of took off there for 5, 6 years and did a nice job.
yep. And your brother was right behind you, right? And he was a good player as well.
Yeah, he was a good player and led his team and it was a part of one of the state tournament teams. And then
Yep.
he's actually there coaching now. This was his first year as an assistant, and they had a pretty big win improvement. You know, I think they only won about 5 or 6 games last year, and I think they were like 16-12, 16-11,
Oh,
and lost to Puxico in the district semifinals. So hopefully trending for Advance to get back in the mix,
oh.
and him and my old teammate Ethan Barr did a nice job this year.
I did not realize Jack was coaching there. That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool for you guys to go
Yep.
back and do that and have that passion for that.
Yep. Yep.
So when you played at Three Rivers, obviously you played for Gene Bess. I mean, the guy's a legend. You played there. I know you went to Ole Miss for a couple of years and did your GA thing. What was there a time when you were like, man, I really want to I want to coach. You know, I'm probably not going to go to the association as they say. What was there like a watershed moment that you're like, man, this is what I want to do kind of thing, or have you known about that the whole time?
Yeah, as I was in high school and high school was kind of winding down, I knew I wanted to coach, but I didn't really know what level. I thought about just coaching high school ball and maybe coaching advance or trying to get a job in Southeast Missouri and trying to do something like that. And honestly, I knew I wanted to coach, but didn't know what level. And when I got to Three Rivers and got around Coach Gene Bess, and I actually took a basketball coaching techniques class that he taught there, and then obviously was around him every day at a practice standpoint. I decided then I wanted to be in college. Everybody was kind of like-minded. You know, you're kind of recruiting your team. Everybody loves basketball, competitive. And I actually had a Sikeston Bulldog roommate, Bashan Ruffin, my first year. And
Oh, I
so
didn't know that.
Bashan and I were super close, and he ended up being at our wedding later on. But I knew when
No
I got to
way.
yeah, when I got to Three Rivers, I knew I wanted to do the college thing. Didn't know where that would lead or how it would shake out, but while I was playing at Three Rivers, my roommate, we had Bashan as a roommate and a guy named Eustace that was from Lithuania, and Eustace blew up. He came over here off an email, and we go to our first deal, and he blows up, gets all kinds of high major offers, super athlete, really good player. And so all these high major coaches are coming in, but he doesn't speak great English. So they're talking to me a ton. And that's kind of how the thing with Ole Miss came about is they're like, I was talking with Andy Kennedy, and he ended up eventually offering me a spot at Ole Miss and ended up earning a
Nice.
scholarship at Ole Miss. But yeah, my Lithuanian roommate coming over helped me get into Division One at a high level in the SEC. So
Coach
it's
Bess is kind of known for foreign players, isn't he?
yeah, he definitely has had some over the years and had a lot of success. And so Eustace was really good, and I definitely benefited from him being there.
You know, it's a funny story about AK, and I call him AK like I know him. I don't know him, but
Yep,
there's some ties to him to Southeast Missouri, and I'll tell you how. If you remember the twins that played here, Owen and Parker Long came from Alabama. Um,
yep,
their dad is from here, from Sikeston. Went to school here. Now they moved to Alabama when he was, I think he was a sophomore. Their dad's name is Carter Long. Carter played at UAB with AK as he called him.
wow,
Yeah, way
wow,
back in the day, back in the early '90s. Carter, see, Andy was a couple years older than him, and but he said, I mean, they had some really good teams back in the early '90s. That was when they were in,
Conference
would it been
USA.
like, I was going to say Conference USA. That was like UAB, Cincinnati, SLU,
Memphis.
Memphis. I mean, they had some squads back then. They were all like top 20 teams, top 25. And so they had
yep.
some battles during that time. Michael, was that when Corey Frazier played at SLU as well?
Corey played probably right after that, like at SLU, but Carlos
Corey was
McCauley was there.
'90s.
because
What's that?
Anthony Hardaway was at Memphis at the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Corey
So,
was in the 90s. AK was late 80s. AK he played his freshman year for Jim Valvano at NC State, and then
oh,
transferred to UAB for the next 3 years. But it was the late 80s.
yeah, it would have been late '80s, early '90s. He might have been there
Corey
like '91 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Corey graduated in '94.
Oh, okay, so he
But,
was
but
after
but
that then.
Carlos McCauley from Charleston was at Salou he came out in '92. So
Okay.
92, 93 season would be
Yep.
his freshman year. So
Yep. Yep.
he
I remember.
he
And
played
Carter
there, and then
talking
Jeremy
about
went
that.
there briefly. So
Jeremy Biles.
hmm
Mm-hmm. 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 So all right, so let's go back. So you're coaching. Was there something like when did you? So how many years were you GA at Ole Miss? 1 year, 2 years,
2 years, yeah. As soon as I got done playing, I was there 2 years to get my master's degree, and so that was kind of the time that I was there, or allotted
and then
there.
right after that you went to where?
Right from there, I got a job with Coach Tim Ryan at Mississippi Gulf Coast, down near the coast of Mississippi, Biloxi area, a little
Okay.
bit north of there. But Hannah and I lived in Gulfport, Biloxi area, and I just drove to work every day. But was there for 2 years. The first year was COVID year, so we didn't play until after Christmas,
Oh my
and it was a
gosh.
shortened season. What kind of a wild first year, to be honest. And then the second
Oh
year we
yeah.
had a good amount of success, and then I ended up going to Chipola from there, and was there for 2 seasons.
now
That
where's
was with
Chipola?
yeah.
Chipola's in Marianna, Florida. It's about an hour north of us here in Panama City.
Okay.
Okay. And is that with Donnie Tyndall? Is that right?
Yep, yep. Worked for Coach Tennell for 2 years as his associate head coach.
And he's had a lot of success. He's been at the high D1 level, right? Or what are you
Yeah,
at Tennessee?
yep,
Or
yep. And he had worked with I had my G8. I worked for Kermit Davis, and they had worked together at LSU and at Middle Tennessee, and so we had some mutual contacts, and that's kind of how that came about.
I was going to say in that area of coaching, it seems like the contacts not always because we talked to Brad Korn. We had Brad on this summer. He and Briley Palmer. And what did he tell us, Micah? How did he come to the SEMO job? It was something similar to that. It was somebody reached out to him, kind of a
I
And
can't
he
remember
was
who it
roommates
was.
with Brady Bark at SIU or something.
That's right.
maybe you know what?
That's
Maybe that
correct.
was it. Maybe they reached out to him.
Hey, you guys gotta get your info up. I got so far. I'm beating you guys up on info.
Oh, you can do that. You can do that all the time.
Well, and we had them on and Brad, talking to him. Then we had Briley Palmer. Do you know Briley?
Yep, I know
She's
Briley. Yeah, she
she's
recruited Hannah a little bit.
yep. She's from the Farmington area, and they're doing a good job. Matter of fact, they played today in the women's. I didn't even see the score yet. I think they played at noon or one today in the OVC tournament. I didn't see how they finished. But then the men they play tomorrow night, I think. But anyway, so that was your first deal. So what's different about kind of being the guy next to him, and then now you're the guy? I mean, you
Yeah.
you are the dude. How does that? What's the difference between those two?
I mean, there's no chance either that I would have been able to get this job if I wouldn't have got to work for Coach Tyndall and be at Chipola. I obviously learned a lot, got to recruit some players that, to the league, kind of see what kind of guys that we needed. We won the conference both years. The second year we won the region. We went to national tournament both years, and it's so competitive. We went 58-10 while I was there, and started one year 21-0, number one in the country, and had a plethora of guys go Division 1, and really just learning how Coach Tyndall operated on a daily basis, and did a great job. I learned a lot. I learned a ton while I was there, and so each guy that I've worked for has been a little different in their own ways, and I wouldn't have got to Gulf Coast if we did not have success at Chipola in the league, and so. Fortunately, the AD wanted to hire a young guy, and so that eliminated a lot of people. And I think there was like 180 people that applied for this job, and
No kidding.
I was lucky enough to get it. So very fortunate, and we've had a good run since I've been here so far.
So how do you? Obviously, I was when you left a while ago. I was looking at your board. Looked like you're very structured, and I think you have to be structured at that level. You just can't just roll the ball out. I mean, there's
Yeah,
got to be some structure to what you do, some I mean, what are your philosophies when it comes to like structuring your practice or what your team looks like or what does that look like?
Yeah, really kind of, we have some base stuff that we try to do, but every day we continue to do skill work throughout the whole season. So usually the start of practice, we split up guards and bigs that are doing 15 to 20 minutes of skill work and then come together and do some team stuff together, toughness drill, rebound and bubble, whatever it may be. This time of year we can't go quite as long, so I'm really trying to emphasize what we want to emphasize and
Yeah.
then we play. We're not playing as long this time of year, but 4 minute competitive games, three or four of
Yeah.
those, and stuff like that. And so it kind of really depends what time of year it is, how long we're going or what we're doing. But this year's been taxing mentally and physically for our guys. We've had the league was as good as it's been since I've been here. We had four teams out of five were top 10 in the country all year, and so every night you're having a battle and I could feel that from the guys and sense it. And so we took Sunday and Monday off completely, which we haven't really done all year. And Tuesday was a little lighter. Today we had a full practice. Tomorrow we're gonna go a lot lighter and Saturday probably do a little inner squad. But you got to manage bodies. I think you've got to keep being competitive and have pockets of competitiveness, but you're not able to grind them 2.5 hours this time of year. You're sometimes
Right.
being counterproductive.
Uh, uh, a lot of the stuff that we talk about on here, we talk with Coach Hollifield's kind of we compare it, not compare it in a way of like you've done, him what you guys done, but he's exact same thing. He's like, man, we this time of the year. I mean, you've got played what are y'all 26-4? Was that right?
24-6.
Oh,
Yep.
24 and
Yep.
6. Okay.
Yep.
And you guys, did I read that you got into your tournament or you got into the region by 24-6? That's what you said you had to win the last game to get in?
Yeah, well, our
Holy
league,
crap.
man, only three
That's
three teams out of our five go to the region tournament. The other side of Florida's got a conference, and we come together. And I mean, as I said, we had four of our five that were top 10. When we started league play, all five teams were top 20 in the country, and so it was a grind. And we started out, we were 5-2 in first place, and we go on a little skid and lose three in a row, but you're losing a number five in the country for. I mean, it's tough. So we're 5-5, and now we're going in the last week of season. And we've been top 10 all year long. If we lose one game, our season's done. We got to win both
oh,
to get in the region tournament. So luckily, our guys found a way. We won two games last week, and it's just kind of crazy. We won two games, or our season was done, and we get in the tournament today, and we're the 2 seed for the region. So like we
oh
could have
my
been out.
gosh.
We could have been out if we lost Saturday, but we're in and we're the 2 seed. So it's just the league's really respected. It's a hard league.
Yeah.
Everybody's got good players and really well coached, but um, hopefully it prepares us for this region tournament and hopefully more postseason play after that.
But where do you play your region tournament?
It'll be in Niceville, Northwest
Oh,
Florida, a little bit
yeah.
north of Dustin.
Yeah. 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 Okay. And so is it everybody goes there? It's a neutral site essentially.
Yes and no. It's neutral for 7 teams. Northwest is in it, and they got the home gym. But
Oh.
it's really about availability. It's not anything they've done wrong. It's you've got to be able to house 16 teams, 8 girls team and 8 boys teams, and so there's only a handful of places that can do it. The teams down south, you got spring training going on, so
Oh
hotels are
yeah.
astronomical. So they're probably the best place to do it. It's a Division 1 like arena, and got a good crowd, fan base, and it'll be a good deal. It's a cool thing.
And you told me the other day when we were talking, you don't play till March 11th. Is that right?
Yep, yep. We play next Wednesday. So,
It's a whole
So
week
h-
left.
yep.
how can we tune in and watch that?
I can send you a link. They stream all the games and you can watch
Okay.
the whole state tournament. But I mean, it's good basketball. I mean, every team's
Oh
gonna have
yeah.
6, 7 Division 1 guys on it.
Yeah.
So
That's
what does
great.
the bracket look like? Is it like just a state tournament, or I mean, I know that Three Rivers is going to the national championship for JUCO. Like, where do you go from state?
Yeah, they're actually Three Rivers is in the region, which is our region. We call it state tournament, state region tournament. But
Mhm.
everybody's plays in a region, and then uh, our league usually gets the winner goes, and then usually gets two at larges. There's 8
Oh,
throughout the country, and so like I said, we got a handful of teams in the top 10. Somebody's not going to win it, but they're worthy of being one of the best 24. So Um, Usually we'll have a winner from our Region 8 and then two at large at least, if not more.
So is that the same region that uh, Three Rivers is in? Because I
Now, Three
region.
Rivers is
Oh,
in
they're
Region
16,
6.
aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they're 16. So they play at home. They host a home game. I think they play State Fair. And if they
Oh
win,
yeah.
they'll play the winner of Menor Area and West Plains.
Okay. Okay. And then you have to win that tournament to go to Hutch. Is that right?
They usually have to win, and then they have to play Region 4, which is like Illinois, Chicago type teams. Our deal is like we have a couple more teams in the region tournament. If we win it, that's it. You're at Hutch. If you
Oh,
don't
okay.
win it, then you should have a chance to get an at large, depending on your body of work from the season.
That's what you're talking about. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's that tournament and then to Hutch is what you're saying.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So the
Okay.
tournament is a four bracket like for the region,
Yes.
like 4 games. Okay.
Ours will be three. We got 8 teams in it, so it'll take three to win it all. Single
Okay.
So
elimination.
so I was getting ready to say, so there's no double elimination. It's win, lose, and go home, essentially.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Um, so when tell us a little bit about, let's go back a little bit. Tell us how playing for Coach Bess was. I mean, the guy's obviously I mean, he's a legend with, number of wins and all that stuff. Tell how it was. How was the recruiting process with him? Did you know you wanted to go there? Tell us all about that stuff.
Well, really, to my point earlier, I wanted to get into coaching, and so didn't have a ton of opportunities. Had some at lower places, but I grew up kind of going to Three Rivers games and went to
Hmm.
their camps and whatnot, and saw how good of a level it was, and I knew Coach Gene obviously was a really really good coach, and so I went over there my senior year probably 10 to 12, 15 times and played pickup with their guys and trying to get an opportunity. And they ended up offering me a walk on spot in like, say, April or May. I went there for the summer, and in August, I signed a full ride scholarship. And
That's
so
awesome.
kind of went over there and earned it, and they respected the work and grind. And I'm just appreciative they gave me an opportunity. But that was kind of how the recruiting went. My uncle played for Coach Gene Bess there. My grandpa played at Three Rivers on the only team that Gene Bess didn't coach until a handful of years ago. And so we grew up going there a lot, and I wanted to go there mainly because of Coach Gene and trying to get into the coaching thing and learn as much as I could. And I got exactly that. I didn't know how it would shape out with, I didn't know I'd go to Ole Miss or anything like that, but
Right.
I knew I wanted to go there and try to learn as much as I could. And I'm super appreciative that I was able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you use some of the things that he went through in his practice? Because the reason I say that, like Will Hollifield from here, I know he played there. And he said that he had some pretty intense conditioning, I guess, is what he talked about, and some of
Yeah.
the practices were tough. Are there? Let me ask you that as well. But has the NCJCAA for a while there? It seemed like you could kind of practice as long and as much as you wanted.
Yep.
Has that some of that changed now too?
Not a ton. I mean, I think to what we talked about earlier, you can't just kill the guys, every single day. But I think the biggest thing I took from Coach Gene was just the competitiveness and the detail and everything that we're doing every day. And Coach was big into rebounding and defense and had a lot of toughness drills and some great stuff for big guys with getting better hands and a lot of different stuff, But the forefront of everything that we did there was tough, hard nosed, physical, kind of blue collar. And I think I've implemented a lot of that in our program. It may be a different drill, but same mindset, as we had there.
Right, right, right. Is there Are there any stories you can share about Coach Bess that are sort of family friendly? Actually, he's a very, I know he's a very devout Christian, and so I understand that his
Yeah.
language is clean and all that stuff. So probably from
Yep.
that side of it, you can say a lot of the things. But are there any
Yeah.
stories that you could share that are worth sharing?
Bashan may or may not have got kicked out once or twice for saying a cuss word. No, I'm kidding. But uh It was, I'm trying to think, man. I'm trying to think anything. I'll tell you one like that sticks with me that's super funny. Like, obviously, in high school, when you're in a small town, especially you're one of the best players or whatever, you kind of get by with some stuff and able to do different things. And I throw a fancy pass or whatever, nobody's saying anything really. And I got there and I got on a 2-on-1 fast break and threw it behind the back. And a guy caught it and laid it in and he stopped the practice and he goes, I don't want to imitate his voice, but he goes, "You're not in advance anymore. Quit showboating. Just make the simple pat." Like, but it was just
You did
funny the
pretty
way he
good with the
said it, man.
imitation,
But
though.
yeah, he was
That's
on
a
me.
pretty good
But
imitation. You've worked at that.
yeah, he was funny in that regard. But that's probably the best one, honestly. And then another guy that was at my wedding, Jake Connington, when I was going over there to play nonstop my senior year, we won a game and I'm going to get a drink, and he walks over to me, Jake does, and he goes, "Hey man, pass the effing ball." And so I'm like looking at him like, "Is this guy serious? We just won the game." And I said, "Hey, we just won the game." Like that, and kind of popped right back at him. And I think it kind of gave him some mutual respect, honestly. And we ended up becoming really close, and he was in our wedding as well. But that was one of my first days over there as well when I hadn't even been on the team yet.
So
So,
you kind of had to fight for yourself, so to speak, then, right?
no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of speaking of that, how is you're turning guys even more than high school, and you're turning them every year basically, not even every 2 years. You're turning them every year. How does that how does that affect your chemistry? How do you know who to look for, how to recruit, kind of all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I mean I don't think we don't have one guy on our team this year that played a second for us last year, and so it's a whole new
What?
team. Yeah,
Holy
I
cow!
have signed more high school guys this year. Last year, I took a lot of Division 1 transfers and was trying to be really good right away and kind of flip Gulf Coast and the narrative and whatnot. And I think we did. But this year, I took a handful of high school guys. We actually only have 3 sophomores and the rest are freshmen. So a lot of our impact guys are freshmen and younger guys. In theory, could come back for another year. And I think we'd really have something. Some of these guys already have Division 1 stuff and may move on, but as far as chemistry, that's probably the hardest part. But I give them examples of guys that we've coached that got 10 points a game and signed high major, 12 points a game and signed at Kansas State. Different things, and they understand the league's respected and valued. And if you can impact 8 to 12 points and your team's winning, you're going to have a chance to sign a Division 1 scholarship. And so just keeping the main thing, which is winning and playing the right way and being competitive and holding these guys accountable. But yeah, there definitely is a struggle with all that stuff. But I try to bring them in the summer and set the tone right away. And some guys leave. You may lose a guy during the summer. You may find out in 2 weeks
Really?
that it's not for him, and he may bounce. And we've had that happen too. Not a ton, but that stuff happens. But we
Mm-hmm.
sign guys all the way up to school starting, and
Wow.
so. I signed 2 guys in August this year, right before school started, and so, um, but it helps if you're winning. That always helps. Guys seem to fall in
Absolutely.
line when you're winning. You're losing, it's a little harder.
Oh, for
Talking
sure.
about the recruiting, like, can you explain to us the eligibility? Like, if you go to NCAA or JUCO, and then when you go to NCAA, do you lose eligibility when you play JUCO ball now?
Yeah,
There was a
yeah,
new
they
rule
haven't.
that
They've
came out, right?
they've given this year's seniors got an additional year, so they're basically playing their 5th year. They
Mhm.
haven't done anything moving forward with that. They've talked about it, but they haven't changed anything as far as that goes. They've talked about giving everybody 5 years, not counting one of your years of JUCO, but they haven't finalized anything. But there's seniors that are playing in college basketball right now that play junior college, say 4 seasons ago, whatever it was, that got an additional year, and are playing this season basically as a 5th year, but they haven't made a constant rule that's came into effect yet moving forward.
But see, we were under the impression that this was
Well, the Pavia, when Diego Pavia sued the NCAA for
yeah,
a
I
year's
thought they were
eligibility.
giving like they weren't counting your two JUCO years toward your 4 years in in a 4-year college. Did that change or no? Did I dream that?
People have won in court and went to court and done some things, but nothing has changed across the board. There's been
Okay.
individual guys in certain cases that have got it. I know there's guys that are playing their senior year right now that played JUCO for me 2 years ago that are trying to get in lawsuits so they can get another year. And why are they all trying to get another year? Well, they're getting
NIL.
paid, they're making money, like they want to wear it out, before the real world starts. So
Hmm.
I can't blame
What
them. I mean, but
does
it's kind of
JUCO
like
have NIL money?
I don't think anybody's really doing that at this level. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't know 100% of fact, but not a ton. I would sell to guys like, hey, we had this guy here last year. This is how we improved him as a player. This is what he did, and now he's getting 100 grand at his next school. Hey, we
Right.
had this guy, like our point guard's going to TCU this year, and had Kansas and Oregon and all kinds of people in here recruiting him, and he's going to make life changing money last year, and so we can sell that to guys. No, that's not everybody's reality, but you're
Right.
showing them, hey, it can be done here. You can change your life here, not only financially, but from an academic standpoint too. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool. He's got a degree from TCU in 2 years.
Right.
That's gonna be pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
I'm I didn't think there would be much money at JUCO level. I mean, like for
Yep.
NIL, but I mean, but I guess if they went out and got a sponsor or something on their own, they could still do that, right?
Yeah, they could. They could.
Like if
We
the
didn't know how.
local Subway shop or whatever wants to say, "I'll pay you to do something," kind of.
We had a taco spot last year. I think we put him out of business. This owner kept giving us free taco cards. He gave me like 250, 300 at a time, and I'd give them to the players. And I'm telling you, they were wearing this place out, and I felt bad. I'm not saying we did, but I drove by and they're not in business. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he might have been giving out too many of the free taco
I
cards.
think he was
And
giving
not
out more free
charging
tacos.
and not
I know
charging
we
enough.
But that was
kind of
our
got off.
NIL deal, and they're out of business, so we don't have any free tacos this year.
Probably not
Right.
too many businesses going to do that too long.
Yeah,
So.
Right. Right. So when you switched from playing to being on a staff, you were still weren't the head coach yet. What's the biggest difference? I mean, you're in the same locker room with the guys. What's the difference? Tell us how that looks. You're like, man, a year ago I was in here with you guys, putting on my shoes and all that stuff, and now I'm on the other side. What does that look like?
kind of really. When I was a G, I was just trying to help the players out, maybe talk to them from a different perspective. I'm not coached them super hard or anything like that. That's not really my role, but work out with them extra. Guys struggling, get him some extra shots, make sure they're getting to class, make sure they're in the right frame of mind. Coach may be on a guy super hard and he's down, and I'm like, hey man, I mean, I know he's on you, but this is what he said to the coaches, and like he believes in you. He thinks whatever it may be, trying to just help out in whatever way you can. And then, scouting standpoint, I'm helping with the scout team. I'm chopping up film with assistants, different things like that. Kind of just being a plug and play guy as a GA. That was my main responsibility there.
Speaking of the scouting, do you guys use Huddle too? Is that a thing at the college level? I mean, it's
Yeah, we use Huddle for our team stuff, like letting our guys watch film and things like that. But we have Synergy is what the main thing that colleges use, and so I plug a game in, somebody clips it somewhere in the world. The next morning, every possession's broken down. They played man, they played zone, a mid-range jump shot, a three-point, whatever it may be, and they have that for every college. And so that's
oh,
kind of how we do our scouting. Like I can say, hey,
so
Matt
so the
Tanner.
company does that. The
Yeah, you
Synergy
pay you
company.
pay for
Oh,
the service, but
yeah,
they do
yeah.
it. But I could be like, hey, let's pull all of Matt Tanner's possessions and see what he is, and I can watch it in 5 minutes and have a pretty good feel for who you are as a player. And
Wow.
it's just clips of you, or you can watch full games as well. But
Sure.
the clipping is what really makes it a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, just talking to, like Greg and Brian and those guys, probably even when you played, or maybe even just before that, they used to have to go, like, if we were playing somebody in St. Louis, we might have to meet somebody in Perryville and exchange game film,
Yeah,
way back in the day to actually scout somebody. Or, hey, we're playing in a week, let's say we win our district, we play next Saturday. They'll
Go catch a
start
game.
traveling to watch, yeah, going to watch them. You don't even have to do that anymore.
yeah. If it's a close game, like we have a bye game here, I'll still go watch in person, so you can maybe get a play call or I don't
Yeah.
know, get a feel for something that maybe you can't see on film. But yeah, I mean, the technology is great, gives you all the analytics, shot charts. You can see how many points guys are giving up when they play zone versus man, what percentage of defense they're. I mean, it's a really in-depth breakdown of every player and every team. And obviously you got to go out and still play the game, but you can have a
Yeah.
really good feel for who they are before you play.
Wow. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yep,
That seems like some pretty good analytics to have the next morning. They do
yep,
that quickly?
yep.
Holy cow. Now, do y'all have a primary defense or do you switch a lot and like do you run some sort of continuity offense as
We
well?
play we play a matchup zone that's super aggressive. We trap the dunker, we trap the post, we trap the corners. We can trap ball screens at time. It's really aggressive. It's not like a 2-3 zone where you're standing there with your arms out. Like a lot of
Right.
man-to-man principles, and
Yep.
then we play some man as well, depending on certain teams, and we'll switch different things. We may switch 1 through 5. We may stay solid with the 5. Just really depends on who we're playing, what we're doing. I'd say our main D is the matchup zone, and we'll mix in some man on different occasions as well. And then offensively, I'd say we play really fast. We get the ball out super quick. We space the floor. We shoot 33s a game. Um,
What I'm
but we
talking
have
about.
our base is driving the ball, like our paint touches to good
The
catch and
kick
shoot
out.
threes. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, and so the main thing is getting the ball out quick, having great spacing. We've obviously got a lot of sets, but our point guard's really good, and that's made it easier on a lot of fronts too. As he's a great passer and can score it, and so I don't know. You don't have to micromanage the game as much as maybe some years you're trying to manipulate it, but yeah, I just try to teach guys to play the right way, man. Share the ball and be unselfish and take good shots. And sometimes that is a challenge to your point of what you said earlier about chemistry, especially on the offensive side. Trusting a teammate, going one more, et cetera. And I think you've got to have success. You've got to show it when you do it right, and you got to show it when you do that wrong, or you're taking bad shots. And bad shots and live ball turnovers usually lead to baskets on the other end. And so we
Yeah.
show good and bad based after every single game.
Nice. So when you play your matchup 2-3, typically the attack on a 2-3 is kind of an overload or throw somebody. They usually either flash from the opposite side to the high post, or some guys they run a circle kind of around the 3-point line and running somebody in that high post. How do you defend that if you got somebody at the high post? Do you have the offside guard, or if it kicks to a wing, does the offside guard cover that, or does your post come up because then you leave the baseline open? How do you
Yeah,
handle that?
we guard all based on alignment. So if a team's in a offensively a 1-3-1 alignment, which would be
Mm,
a point guard, two wings, high post, and a dunker or post, then we're in a tandem. X1's in the ball, X2's choking the high post, the wings are high and wide, and X5's pulled to whatever dunker. If a team's predominantly 4 out, where they got two guard spots, two corners, and one high post or whatever, then our X5 guards the high post and everybody's matched like man to man. And
okay.
so our biggest thing is honor where the ball is, and
Yep.
the scouting comes into play. We're playing Sikeston. They're predominantly, they got 200 clips versus zone, 180 of them, they're 1-3-1 offense. All right, we're going to be in fists. We're not bumping. We're not going to bump the wings. We're going to stay in our tandem and take away the high post. Or, all right, we're playing Charleston tomorrow. They're predominantly 4 out. Well, then we're going to be fist two, bumping everything, and it's really a lot more like man to man.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Do you run like on your breaks? Do you have you said you like to push it. I haven't seen you guys play, but I assume you get the ball out of the basket, get it out of the net, and you're kicking it to a guard, to your point guard, and he's sprinting it up the floor. You're kicking it up the floor. Do you run anything like a secondary break or anything like that?
We have some stuff, but the main thing is we teach the guys spacing, run, flatten the floor. Closest guy takes the ball out of bounds as quick as possible. We
Okay. So you
practice.
don't have a post to whoever, just it's whoever's there.
We practice in the preseason with a shorter shot clock. We may play like 4-on-4-on-4 with a 14-second shot clock or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, and play a little bit faster, take it out quicker. It looks like chaos in preseason, but eventually they get used to playing at that pace, and we run and get to the corners. If you're the 5 man and you don't get the rebound, you got a rim run, get out dunker, opposite dunker. If you're the 4-man and you don't rebound, you rim run, get out opposite corner. 2s and 3s are just filling the spots, whether that's the slot or the corner. And we're just trying to constantly flatten the defense,
Yep.
get them to the
Stretch it.
baseline and
Yep.
stretch the defense out. So that's our biggest things.
I didn't know Coach Oliver runs something similar. He tries to push the ball up the sideline because there's some little bit more space there. It's not congested in the middle. He got this from Bill Self. He said they run called secondary break. He
Yep.
sprints it ahead. He gets the off guard. Whoever does not bringing the ball up the floor has a sprint to the ball side and get to the corner. They try to kick it down to there to get that defense, and then the guy who gets the rebound usually fills at the top of the 3-point line. They try to reverse it, getting the ball going side to side to get the defense
Yep.
moving too. That's kind
Yep.
of and typically, of course, especially at the high school level, and it's different because at JUCO and Division One or whatever, all 5 guys can play, right? I mean, let's be
Yep.
real. They're not going to be. You're not going to have you're going to have a weaker link, but you're not going to have some kid out there that doesn't know what he's doing. But at this level, if you have that your 4, your 5 rim running, he can score 15 points a night just running the floor like that.
Yep.
But it sounds like you got your
100%.
bigs running too.
Yeah, we try to recruit athletic 5s. We don't have any 5s that are stiff, so all of them are 6'7" to 6'10" and can run and jump. And so we just think the game's faster too in junior college than a lot of
Mm-hmm.
levels. And so we want somebody that can move and run and jump, and we try to make them better players.
Right? Now, do you recruit that particular area, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, or do you wherever you got to go is wherever you got to go kind of thing?
Yeah, everywhere. Georgia's definitely probably the hottest spot, like kind of in this region. Ton of good players in Savannah and Atlanta, and I mean, you can go to about anywhere in the state and find some good players. But I mean, we've got guys this year from Guinea, New York, Baltimore, Florida, Minnesota, France, Lithuania,
Wow.
Gambia, uh, where else? Virginia, DC. So I mean, we got guys, Texas, we got guys from all over. So the positive is our school is pretty well funded and we can fly a lot of these guys in. And I usually, for the recruiting, I'll watch them. I may watch a highlight. If I'm intrigued, I'll get a full game tape. I'll watch a couple games. If I'm still intrigued, then we try to get them to campus and let them spend 2 days here and play pickup with our guys and get a feel for them as a person and take them out to eat and all that and see if they fit what we're trying to do or not.
I was
Wow.
wondering if
So
y'all traveled for
that's
for the for that.
I do get out and travel some, but honestly, I try to bring a lot of them here because I don't know. You can go watch a kid dominate in a high school game, and they're not gonna come here and maybe they dominate, maybe they don't, but you're not expecting them to score 30 when they come in, but can they fit in? Do they look like they belong? Does their body, are they physical enough? Are they athletic enough? Like you can tell a lot, even without them scoring or whatever. They may not be playing their even their best. You can tell if they're supposed to be on the floor or not.
yeah. Now, do you have somebody there at your school that does the strength training and stuff like that, or is that something you have to do too? I mean, I know at a JUCO, obviously, you don't have a budget of a University of Alabama or University of Georgia kind of thing. How does that
Yeah,
work?
obviously being in it as a player at Ole Miss at the SEC level and then GA, and I uh, I work closely with the strength coach there, and so he helped me build a plan, and I've kind of just updated as the years go. Our assistant coaches, most of our guys have at least done it or some experience. It's not obviously a legit strength coach, but sometimes at this level you're doing a little bit of everything, and so
Yeah, sure.
our assistants are all in there and got great energy, and we split them up into groups and got music going and the guys enjoy it. I think they actually like the lifting and getting their bodies better. And, a lot of guys that come to us need to gain 15 or 20 pounds. And so we're trying really hard to do that. And majority of our guys do that. We get them
Yeah.
protein shakes and all the stuff. And you get them lifting 3 to 4 days and eating the right things. They can throw in some weight.
Hmm. Now, do you guys lift like? I assume you lift pretty hard in the off season. Like right now, are you lifting as much or?
We go about 2 days a week now, and off season we're about 4 days a week.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
figured that.
right now, it may be a 30-minute lift as opposed to off season. We may go an hour 4 times and really hit it hard. But right now, we're just trying to maintain, keep our
Right.
strength and make sure guys' bodies are still moving and functioning.
Yeah. Got. I know their legs, like that's got to be a big deal toward this part of the year. You got to make sure you're healthy and got some legs
Yep.
underneath you. Is your
Yep.
health pretty good? Your team health pretty good so far?
Yeah, knock on wood, we got one
Yeah.
5 man that's a huge part of our team that's kind of dealing with a groin. And we're kind of holding him limited right now and trying to get him healed up. We've got some time obviously before we play again. And it's nothing major, but just knick-knack stuff. We're trying to make sure guys are shored up and feel good going into next Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So let's we talked a little bit about Hannah a while ago, and she played 5 years of Division I basketball. She played four at SEMO and one at Evansville, and I remember it was odd for me, and I'm sure it was really odd for her when because we went up and watched her play at Evansville playing at SEMO where she just came from. I know it was probably weird for her too. And are you able to have some pretty good discussion with her when you get home? I mean, does she give you her? I know she inputs on stuff. She's got to. I mean, she was
Yeah.
a hooper back in the day. How does that
No,
work out?
we don't usually wait till we get home. We usually, as soon as we're walking out of the gym. No, but yeah, it's
She's
been
saying,
good. I mean,
Lane, you suck. You should have called a timeout or something, right?
it's crazy, when I got here, that one of the main things, Chipotle had been good, Northwest had been good, and they were like, we want to be competitive with these guys. So last year, we're 0-2 versus Chipotle. We got one more left on the road, and we're driving the game, and Hannah's like, you've got to beat Chipotle, Lane. You've got to beat them. You can't get swept by Donnie. And we beat them on a buzzer beater. And so
Oh, nice.
this year, we're having a good year. We beat Chipotle twice. We're going into game 3. We're driving the game. And she goes, you got to sweep Chipotle, Lane. You got to sweep them. I said, dang, the expectations have changed quick. I mean, but
Right,
that's a positive
right.
thing. But she's been good. Obviously, she knows what's going on. And if we lose the game, we're not talking a whole lot. If we win, we're talking about everything positive in the game and negative and whatnot. But she's got a good feel and
Yeah.
watched a lot of games with me. So
I was going to say that's got to help you as far as having that. Uh, Obviously, you got your staff with you and all that stuff, but she's to me, she's like another. She could be like another staff member that's right there with you.
yeah, she's like, I joke with her. You know how when you're a kid, or I'm sure Aaron's involved, like you've got a headroom mom and they're like cooking Rice Krispies. She does that for our team. And so
Oh
she
yeah,
makes some pasta and Alfredo and always taking care of them in that way. And got them some shoes at Christmas. And so she's kind of like a second mom here for our
that's
guys. I
awesome.
mean, and so
That's
she's done a
awesome.
great job with all that. And our kids are around the players and they're nice to our kids. And so try to create a little bit of a family atmosphere. We got so many
Yeah.
new guys and some of them away from home the first time. You don't want them to feel like they're out here on an island.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. And of course I know that's who she is. She loves kids. Gosh, Luke would go over there and he'd spend a week and I'd have to make him come home when he was
Yeah,
little. And I'm like, son, you got to come home. No, Dad, Hannah, Aunt Joe said I could stay. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So and I
yeah.
knew she loved kids way back then. So that's terrific. So how is that? I mean, you're right now is the high time and you're probably, well, you're still at the office. Here it is. I mean, you're taking time with me and we appreciate it obviously, but you, you're gone all the time or gone a lot. Do they go with you to a lot of the games and stuff like that too?
Yeah, I try to involve them as much as possible. I mean, obviously I'm trying every day to be as good as we possibly can be for sure.
Sure.
But they ride with me to the games. All the games are pretty close. I usually drive separate and we ride
Oh,
together. And, like I said, we have the team functions. I'll bring them up. My kids are at every game. They're hanging out with the players. And so, yeah, I try to do as much as possible with them. And, when I get done with practice, I go home and, we're cooking dinner or Collins is helping cook dinner. Hannah's making dinner or bathing kids. And then usually when they go to bed, I'll spend some more time doing coaching stuff at night. Uh, and try to knock that stuff out. But when we first had Collins, I didn't think probably did a great job of managing both right when we had Collins, and so I try to just put that stuff up when I go home right away. And sometimes we'll watch practice while we're eating dinner, hook it up to the TV and everybody's watching it and whatnot. But I try to uh,
You're
I
raising a
try to
couple
turn that
coaches.
stuff off at least until close to bedtime, and then I'm locked back in.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, what do you hope your kids? What do you want them to see from you or what do you want them to learn from you while you're coaching? Have you thought about? I mean, are you intentional? Obviously, you're when they're there. I'm sure you change the way you do things a little bit as far as trying to make it family friendly, so to speak. But
Yeah,
what do you hope they learn from you while seeing you do that?
I would say just probably work ethic and just grinding for what you want. I mean, my parents worked extremely hard when I was growing up and provided for us and all this stuff. And I hope that I can do the same for ours. And um, nothing's easy. If you want some, I mean, I walked on at Three Rivers, earned a scholarship. I walked on at Ole Miss, earned a scholarship. I worked for free at Ole Miss, earned a scholarship. Like, I took a huge pay cut to go to Chipola, and Hannah and was completely supportive of that. But you've got to chase what you want, and I hope they just see like the work ethic and grind that you've got to put if you really want to be successful at something. And my mom was influential in a lot of ways too. Like, hey, do something that you love. If you're good enough at it, you'll make money doing it eventually. And so, hopefully, they just see the work ethic and but also treating people the right way and doing things the right way as well.
Right, right, right. Um, so when you were in Mississippi Gulf Coast and Chipola, now here, are there specific things that some of those coaches taught you or that you picked up on? Like, did you pick up a specific defense? Like you talked about a 2-3 mainly and how you're a matchup 2-3. I mean, when I hear that, the first thing I think of is Jim Boeheim, right? He ran that 2-3 matchup or matchup 2-3 at Syracuse for years and was highly successful at that. Was that what they taught you there, or is that something that you're like, no, I really like that. You already had that in mind, kind of thing?
Yeah, a little of mix, honestly. Like AK changed defenses a lot and kept people out of off balance. Coach Davis changed defenses a lot, but played some zone, probably more than most do. And then Coach Tyndall was exclusively zone. And then Tim Ryan, my first boss, played a little bit of both. And then Gene was all man to man.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think I've been very fortunate. Like all of them were really good in their own ways. Gene Bess, Hall of Famer. Tim Ryan won a national title at this level. Kermit Davis was SEC Coach of the Year my first year. Andy Kennedy was all-time winners coach at Ole Miss. Donnie Tyndall was, unbelievable at Division One, and then obviously he's at junior college killing it and trying to work his way back up. And so I got to see a lot of really good things in different ways. And the main thing I've learned is you can be successful in a lot of different ways. And so
Yeah.
there's not necessarily just one way to do things.
Right. So what's your vision there for Gulf Coast as far as all right, I'm here now. We've won 2 years. What do you hope to see in the next 3 to 5 or whatever time frame you're looking at?
Yeah, for Gulf Coast, I mean, when I got here, I wanted to compete to win the region and compete to win the conference and try to make it to Hutch and hopefully compete out there. And so last year we came up just short. We're tied for first place with 3 to go in the conference, and we go 1-2. The other team goes 2-1. So we get second. We make it to the region. We're one possession away from Hutch and a region title. We fall short. And so I thought we
And
were
so you didn't
trending.
get an at-large to Hutch last year then?
Unfortunately, not. We missed out. I think, I don't know if he was saying it or not, but the head of the committee said we missed it by one spot, and so,
First
um,
team out, huh?
yeah, unfortunate deal.
Wow.
But it gave us some juice going into next year, and hey, this is what we got to do different, et cetera. And so this year we at least got a share of the conference title, which is goal one. Now we're about to start goal two, which would be a region title, and then hopefully goal three, which would be a national title at Hutch. And so obviously you got to have some luck and catch some breaks to do that, but I think our team's as good as anybody if we're playing the right way. I'm not saying we're a sure thing to win it all, but we're more than capable if we're playing the right way.
Wow. Wow. What was one of the hardest things, as a first year coach? I mean, you're looking back, you're 2 years in now as the guy, and we talked about that a while ago. It's different than sitting in the seat next to the guy because at the end of the day, you've got to decide, you know, um, do we call a timeout here? All those things. At the end of the day, I know you got help and input and all that stuff, but what was one of the hardest things you had to learn as a first year coach?
As an assistant, you're making decisions, but they're not always used. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, but you may freely make a decision and there's really no pressure of that. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so now everything's kind of on you. And you make a bad decision during a game or whatever it may be, it's right on your shoulders. And so, I think you don't even know what you don't know until you get into it. I think I'm a lot better this year than I was last year at a ton of different things. I've still got a million miles to go, but the hardest thing for me was probably managing practice time and bodies. When I was at Chipola, we had 15 guys and a couple walk-ons. Here we've got a few less scholarships, so we've got 12 and then maybe one walk-on. And so like if my best player, if we play 20 minutes at practice, he's playing 18, 19 minutes at practice. At Chipola, our best player may play 9 to 10 minutes, and you're kind of keeping him fresh. So, understanding in Division One, you got more players. So that was probably the hardest for me was balancing the bodies, how long to go, practicing. Hey, should we take off? Should we go this day? Do we need to go hard? And you know, different things of that nature. But I would say we got a much better feel this year in year two of what we need to do.
So speaking of that, do you know who you're going to play on March 11th?
Indian River. We played them earlier in the year, and it was a close game. They've got a nice team, and so it'll be a hard game, but hopefully we can pull it out.
So, but you can scout. So you're going to be really prepared for them and put in inbounds defenses and whatever. You're going to scout them and really know what their tendencies are then.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we got a 30-game sample of watching them play, and so all online. So we'll work day and night over the next few days to make sure our guys are as prepared as we can be because the sickening feeling as a coach is if you don't cover something or don't go over something preparation wise and they score on it or something happens and your guys weren't prepared. One
Yeah.
play could be the difference in winning and losing. And so you're not going to be able
Yep.
to cover everything, but you want them to have a good feel and be confident going into the game that they know
Yeah.
what to kind of expect.
Micah and I have talked about this a lot. We hear Coach Hollifield talk, and the things that he says, he's obviously had 30 plus years of coaching, but he always tells his team, he said, you win them and I lose them. And he said, the reason I lose them is because when we lose, I didn't prepare you. And
Yep.
so I think and you said it, you didn't say it, those exact terms, but you said it. You're like, oh my gosh, we should have gone over that, or we should have gone over that inbounds play or whatever. I didn't tell them about this, or we didn't cover this. That's where that's what leaders do. They say, man, that was on me. I didn't prepare
Yep.
you right. And
Yep.
so that's the tough part that I think that if you've already played 30 games. So the tougher part to me, and Mike and I talked about this even with the short season
How
in
do you
like high
prepare for
school
the next
basketball.
game?
Yeah, you can't prepare for somebody you might play 2 days later. I mean, what can you do in 2 days, right? But
Well,
you can't.
luckily we've played Northwest, Chipola, Indian River, Daytona. So we played four of the 7 teams possible already
Okay,
this year. So
okay,
you have some feel, and then we advance scout. So I'll have a coach he'll have a complete scout done on one team, and we may not play him. I'll have another
right,
coach have this team done, and we may play them. And then a couple of teams that we played in the conference that are in the tournament, like we've already got a great feel for them. We may update a few things based on how we played them the last game, whatever. But really, you're just trying to get as much info as you can and get prepared for the other teams that you haven't played as much or played at all. But
right.
we split that up this morning and we've got more than enough time to put together a good plan for every possible team that we may play.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like next Wednesday you play. Will the next game, like you win, play the next day? Is that kind of how that goes, or
We
is that?
got Thursday off and then we'll play Friday. And then if we win, we'll play Saturday.
And that's not a ton of like you can't prep. Certainly from Friday to Saturday. How can you prep? I mean, you can look a little bit of film or something, but that's not true
Yeah.
prep, so to speak, at that point. But I mean, everybody's in that same boat. It's not just you guys. How
Yep.
do you how
Yep.
do
You
you
just
manage
try to
that?
you've got to emphasize what you think is important. You're not going to be able to cover everything, but there's a couple of things you think are super important about how their team plays, whatever it may be. You got to try to get that message across. Hey, this team's an elite offensive rebounding team. Everything they do is toughness. Hey, this team is great in transition. We've got to put them in half. Whatever you think it is, you've got to really, really emphasize that. You don't be efficient, man. Don't waste your time on stuff that may not be as important.
Yeah. At that, would you cover something like that in a walkthrough or something? I mean, if you're going day to day, you're going to have a walkthrough in the morning or something, but you're going to have time to really have a hard practice or anything like that.
Yeah, the positive is for us is like, okay, we play Indian River first round. We played them. And then we're going to have a more in-depth scout because that was early in the year. but we played them. If we win, we're going to play Daytona or Eastern. Okay, we played Daytona. So this week we really got to get a good feel for Eastern. But, if we play Daytona, we've already played them. And then if we win that game, we're probably going to play Northwest or Chipola, who we've already played 3 times apiece. So, it's probably not it is a challenge, but probably not as much as you guys would think.
Yeah, yeah. But as you
Well,
advance
and you
those,
got a little bit of time leading up to it. You can kind of
Yeah,
yeah,
prepare, maybe not say you're working for that towards that specific team, but put some things in.
100%.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me we'll shift back here just a little bit. Um, if you've got a kid, if there's a kid in our area or anywhere, says, "Man, I love basketball, good player." What's just some advice you give to them about how to get to JUCO level? It doesn't matter. And Mike and I talk about this all the time with kids. Use that. I mean, the stats and the numbers say basketball, baseball, football, golf, whatever. They say the numbers of you getting to a professional level say you're not going to get there, right? It's such a small number of individuals that get to that level, like the NBA, let's say.
Yep.
And so we stress, hey, make sure you leverage your time at Gulf Coast or you leverage it anywhere to get a degree and better yourself personally. But what's something you would tell a kid like if I want to play basketball at the next level, whether that's JUCO or whatever? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say, obviously it always helps. It's hard to get self-recruited. Like everybody's got a highlight now.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't really the case 10 years ago, but
Right.
you got to have somebody probably vouching for you. Like if Coach Hillefield calls Coach Kirby down at Three Rivers, there's like an 100% chance that Coach Kirby's going to take the call, listen to the call, and probably invite the guy over to play some pickup. But I think that's the best way, man, is go put yourself in front of them and get seen. And, I know Sikeston's always got some good players, and Bashan actually keeps me up to date on some of the guys. And I watched some of those games. I watched Sikeston play Jackson last year. I watched Sikeston play a few times this year. I know the number 4 kid's really good athlete. And Cape Central had a
Robert's
kid
been
that
on him pretty good.
yeah, I was wanting to look at a kid at Cape Central, and he hurt his knee, and I was
Yeah.
going to watch him over Christmas break, but I think he signed at
He
a JUCO in
signed with,
Alabama.
yeah, Micah, we talked about that. Who did he sign with?
Somebody down in the Mobile or somewhere, wasn't
Bishop
it?
Bishop State in
Bishop.
Mobile.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
But
Yep.
you got people everywhere that are watching. Like kids probably don't even understand that who's watching them.
Yeah.
Like Ronnie Dean's from Charleston, been around
Yep.
Division 1 forever. He can tell me everything about every Southeast Missourian kid there is. Hey, this kid had a bad
Seen
attitude. This
Ronnie
kid was
yesterday at Subway.
this kid was cussing at his coach, whatever. And so I would say my advice, you never know who's watching. You better be a good person as well as a good player. Because
Yeah.
there's too many good players out there. If you're a hassle or a problem, they're just a lot of coaches aren't going to take that on, you know.
Man, that's great advice. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear that never know who's watching.
Yep.
There were people, and it's not even, they weren't even scouts, but there were people at the game yesterday, and I'm like, you were there? So there are people, they not sneak in, but they go in and sit in the corner, just like you said. And I see Ronnie all the time.
You never
He's,
know. You really never know. I mean,
Ronnie's everywhere.
he
like
is everywhere.
you just never know, man. I mean,
He
Yeah.
was my
Puxco's got a
grandmother's
kid,
neighbor.
and they were watching him the other day at Three Rivers. Like, you just
Who's
never
that?
know who's the kid at Puxco. Like Three Rivers
Oh,
was there
Burchard.
watching him. Like, you just never know who may be watching, and you can hurt yourself. I tell our guys that all the time. Like, okay, Kansas and Oregon came in here to recruit our point guard. Are they watching everybody on our team? No, but do they have a friend at Missouri State or Arkansas State? Yeah, 100%. I've done it all. I've done it a lot. I'll leave the gym and call somebody and be like, "Hey, we don't need this spot, or we can't take another guy like this, but this kid's definitely good enough," and call him Mississippi JUCO or whoever it may be, and help kids in that way. But I can promise you, if a kid's not acting the right way or acting messed up, it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. That's great advice. Hey, we're about we're a little over an hour, and I don't want to keep you. So we got I sent you the lightning round. So we'll
Okay.
get to some of those, and then we'll bounce here. We appreciate your time. What's your Advance Missouri boy? What's the best thing about being from Advance?
I'd say the best thing's the worst thing. Small town, everybody knows everybody, which is a positive because you can always get help and people will always bend over backwards. And that's also a negative because everybody knows everything at all times. And so,
Your
pros
business
and
is
cons,
everybody's business, right?
no doubt, no doubt.
Southeast Missouri's small. What are you talking about? Like,
That's
That's
true.
true.
That's
That's true.
I think I know the answer to this one, but I want you to talk about it. Three Rivers or Ole Miss, toughest practice you've ever had or ever survived, I guess.
Three Rivers.
Will told me
There's
there's
so
some
many
legend.
restrictions. There's so many restrictions. Like
Yeah,
when I got to Ole Miss for the first summer, we could only get on the court for 3 hours a week
right,
and
right.
one weights. And I'm like, this is it? You know, we're
Yeah,
practicing like at Three Rivers, we got morning workouts, condition at 3, weights after that, practice after that, and then play. It's like 8 o'clock. You're heading home. Like, you know,
that question kind of, is there a big difference as far as like self preparation from JUCO to a Division I school? I mean, like for
I
you
would
as an
say,
individual.
yeah, I would say obviously you got better players there. Guys are older, stronger, all the stuff, and, stuff that you may have been able to get by with at a lower level, you can't get by with at that level. But I think the junior college is the mentality. You're not eating these luxurious meals. There's no um, hot tub for you to hop in after practice. Like you're having to kind of do it, in a different way. You got to have a little bit of mud in your blood. And so I think JUCO makes you extremely hungry if you utilize it the right way. And when you get to that spot, hopefully at your Division I, you're going to appreciate it more. And we had a kid last year that the only player I kept off the team from the prior year when I first got here, and he'd got 4 points a game and didn't have a great freshman year. We got 20 pounds off of him. He ended up being player of the year, All American, and now he's an all conference player for Arkansas State, getting about 15 a game. And so
Hmm.
his life changed like that. I think that's a cool part about, but his
yeah,
mentality, that JUCO mentality, like he didn't have a great year. He's got to make it happen his sophomore year, or he's going to be struggling to find his spot. And to his credit, he did. The kid's name's Christian Harmon, and he's had a great year for Arkansas State.
But with like the limited time that coaches can spend with you at Division I, does that responsibility come on you as an individual player to do your own prep? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you definitely have to do some stuff on your own, but GAs are kind of that middleman. They can
okay,
watch film with you and work out extra with you on the court, and you probably do a lot more individual stuff and workouts when you're at that level. And you may pop in and watch 15 minutes of film with a coach or whatever, but you definitely got to be efficient with what you're doing.
yeah,
well, I know that
yeah,
Blake talked about that being the difference between like being able to go straight out of high school to play in the minor league baseballs is that prep was on him. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't nobody telling there he's got to go lift weights or anything like that. He had to
yeah,
do all that on his own. And I was wondering if
yeah.
that kind of was like that at college too. You know,
Well, until you're
being,
trying to continue your career, guys, trying to go play in the G League or overseas or
mm,
whatever, like there's good players. I mean, you leave high school and get to college, you're gonna have to beat good players out everywhere you go, and it just gets
Hmm.
and they're
harder and
always
harder and
working,
harder. So,
and they're always working too.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Hmm. What's one word that describes Gene Bess?
Christian,
Wow, that's a great.
I would say that too. I mean, like I've
Yeah,
met him a couple times, and
yeah.
I,
Wow.
that whole there's a whole community that they have over there. And I'll be honest with you, I got an opportunity to work in hospice, and that whole church that he was involved in, it really looked like a church. I'm going to be honest with you because the
yep.
people took care of each other, you know, and
Some people,
and he was,
everybody's got their own beliefs and whatnot, and everybody's unique and different. But he wasn't just talking it. He actually did it, lived it, was about it, and so
Yep.
I got a lot of respect for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's the first coach you'd call if you needed some advice?
Kermit Davis.
Where's Kermit now?
He kind of floats between. He's got a place here in Watersound, about 30 minutes away from me, and then he's got a house in Oxford as well. His daughter lives in Tupelo, and his dad. So they kind of bounce back and forth. Spend a couple weeks down here, and he'll come to practice and whatnot, and then back in Mississippi for some time.
Is he out of coaching now? Is he retired essentially?
Yeah, yep. He's been out for a couple years now.
Okay. Okay. What's the best compliment a player can give a coach?
A player can give a coach. Uh, I would say, and I know it's simplistic, but I would say consistency. You know, you don't want to be different. You don't want to treat people different. You know, you've got to coach players sometimes different ways than you can coach a different guy, but just consistent with your approach, ready to go every day. I don't want anybody to ever come in here and think, man, coach was not ready to practice or we weren't ready for that game. Like, you got to be consistent, man. We may get beat, but I'm going to do my job.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Um, what's the hardest thing for players to understand about roles on a team and the role they may have?
I say specific to our level, because you're always dealing with freshmen and sophomores, is not everybody's role is the same.
Okay.
Everybody on our team probably had the same role in high school, which was the best player and one of the main guys. And now they're having to understand what can get them to the floor and keep them on the floor. And sometimes that's a challenge for guys.
It might have been the high school level, like you said, you might have been the dude that gets the ball to go get a bucket. Now it might be the guy that just gets on the floor or draws a charge, which
Yeah,
is totally different.
no doubt.
Um, what's one thing that you still do that you did as a player? Kind of like, do you have any superstitions?
Simple, but shower before every game. Like I go home after everyone. I know that's I'm like a clean freak, but like we've got a routine. We play at 7 o'clock, 7:30. Like we have shoot around at 2 o'clock. I'm done by 3 o'clock. I'm home. I eat. I'm showering right before we leave for the game, getting dressed, and we're heading to the arena.
That's okay. So that's what, probably your third shower of the day?
I guess that would be probably second before the game, one before work, one there. But even when I was a GA at Ole Miss, I'd run to the locker room and shower before the games.
Really? That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. Last one. What's the best gym atmosphere you've been in? High school, college, whatever. What's the best atmosphere you've been in?
Two places come, no, three places really come to mind. Hinkle House at Butler. We played Butler on the road. Great atmosphere. Auburn, we beat them twice a year. They went to the Final Four a few years back, but great atmosphere. And then Arkansas. And Arkansas, I got to give them their props. Like,
Bud
I'm not
Walton
an
Arena?
yeah, I'm not an Arkansas fan, but it doesn't matter if they're 11 and 20 or 25 and 0. They got 20,000 people there and just going
Wow.
crazy. And they got a great atmosphere, man. I know they love sports, but they really love basketball.
Well,
Imagine you
I'm
forgot
glad they
one.
can do what?
You forgot one question. It's like when
Oh,
he comes home to when he comes home to Southeast Missouri, where's a must eat place?
oh, there you go. Sorry. Yeah, I
Hannah,
missed that one.
Hannah and I were talking about this. It's not one. I don't have one place. I got about nine that we go to. So we've got a rotation. And this is controversial. All my friends at Jackson, Dexter, are like Webb's barbecue is the best, and then other Dexter guys are like Dexter barbecue or Dexter Queen. I love Dexter Queen. I like
Sound
Dexter
like
barbecue
Micah.
too.
I like a
So
lot
does
of pig.
Micah.
I
Love a
like a
lot
lot
of
of
pig, cherry Mountain Dew, but I go to Webb's too, and I get a hot combo and a cherry Coke and an apple pie. But we love Watami. We love Emo's Pizza. I go to L Taps and Dexter. Like I don't know. I love food, man. I got about six spots we hit every time we
Nice.
go home. Hannah's like, "Are you not tired of eating that?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm not." So I'm trying to get somebody to ship me some Webb's barbecues down, like dry freeze them or something and ship them down. So if you guys can do that as payment for the show, that'd be great. Just give me like six or seven of
Oh, okay. Oh, so all right. Let's see here. Wibbs
them.
barbecue. Doesn't doesn't Mason live in Jackson?
He does, but he doesn't like
Yeah.
Webb's.
What?
He
What's
doesn't
wrong
like
with
it.
him?
He's sick. He doesn't like it.
Right, right, right.
Are there any must places to eat down there?
Oh, there you
Oh
go.
man, there's a ton of good spots.
You don't like
My
seafood,
favorite
do you?
spot is I don't know if you guys do you guys ever come to Panama?
We go to Perdido a lot,
Got you.
which
Okay,
is
I
what's
don't
that?
go down there.
Probably what's that? Oh, let me ask you this: how far are you from Pensacola Airport?
2 hours.
Okay, you know you can fly from Pensacola to Cape now, don't you?
I didn't, but we fly from we got an airport here in Panama City where we go to
Yeah.
St. Louis,
Ah,
but which is obviously a little dry, but that's usually where we fly. But there's a great place here called Captain Anderson's. If you ever are in this area, that's really good seafood. But man, there's a ton of spots. I mean, you can gain weight in a hurry here. Trust me on that.
So how far, Panama City, how far are you from Pensacola then?
It's like 2 hours, 2 hours,
Oh,
depending on
oh,
where you're
okay, you
going in
said that. Yeah, I
Pensacola.
was
Yeah,
thinking.
two to 2:15.
So Perdido is 2.5 ish then probably, or maybe a little over because it's a little further west. Perdido is. Okay. Okay. All right, last one. Give me three people you would have for us on the show. You just tell us we should get on the show.
Have you guys had Otto Porter?
Have not.
I
Dad
think
or
that'd be
senior, junior?
either one, but I'd maybe go junior since he's kind of fresh off playing and what he's
Yep.
doing now and whatnot.
I may have to hit you up after, see how I get in touch with him. I'd love to have him on. That'd be
And
awesome.
then I know he's a little bit older, but what about Ronnie Cookson?
Man, I'd love to have him as well. I heard he's not doing great
Yeah.
physically. That would
Yeah.
be my
Yeah,
only
that may be
limitation.
hard for
We're yeah.
hopefully he's
I've we've talked to Coach Mack. I'm trying to work with his schedule, get him on. I know Mike. I know well. You probably know Coach Mack, don't you? Lennis.
yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on too.
And
Or
then what
or
about again another guy? I know he's a little bit older. He probably couldn't do an hour, but Gene Bess.
I'd love to have Coach Bess on. That
Yeah.
would be amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We could we can filter this thing to make it simple for him to get on here.
Yeah.
Man, Lane, it is good to see you. Erin wants me to tell you hello. She is on her way. Oh, well, I was looking on my watch. She went to Nashville she's staying with her two nieces, her brother. Have you met Joseph? I don't know if you met Erin's brother or not.
I don't think so, no.
Actually, he is a Division I softball umpire and
Nice.
lives. Yeah, he's a real estate agent or they're just south of Nashville, and he's gone this weekend in San Antonio somewhere at a tournament.
Is this
And
weekend he's coaching or umping a Texas A&M game?
yep, yep, yep.
Nice.
We went watched him in the fall. He did a preseason or exhibition game at Mizzou. So we went up there. It was like in October, I think, and he called it Mizzou. It's pretty cool to
Nice.
see that. Yeah, and so Aaron's dad is Joe Baldwin. You probably remember Joe calling basketball, don't you? That's
Oh
that's
yeah.
my father-in-law.
Wow.
Yep, yep. It's a small world. So, but we appreciate you, man. Tell Hannah hello. We got to talk to her last little bit. Aaron is now the delivery spot for Southeast Missouri for Hannah's Boutique or whatever. we we got a bunch of stuff that are some sweatshirts or something Hannah was selling. So we're the
Yeah.
Southeast Missouri pickup
Were
point.
those Bulldog shirts on your table?
Yep, yep.
Them were thick shirts, man. They were like, if you wore them down in Florida, you'd burn up. I mean,
No doubt. You have to cut the sleeves off.
Right. That's right. That's right.
they were nice though. I mean, like I kind of looked at them one day. They were laying on the table. I was like, man,
Yep.
they're nice.
Yep. Yep. They're very nice. They're very nice. Yeah, she shipped them up here and we're out there, put that box out on the porch. I guess that's a thing now, man. People just come up to your porch and pick them up and move on.
Yeah. Everybody's tight on the shipping. I'm like, I don't know. The younger generation probably don't even think about it. It's just so natural to order online and buy stuff like you don't think about it. A lot of people that are a touch older are like $5 for shipping. Like no, spend 15 on gas. Go ahead.
No,
Right. Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, that's awesome. Lane, man, we appreciate your time. I know you guys played, you came up here, was that late fall or
yeah,
early
first
winter?
first games of the year we played Three Rivers in Middle Area.
Are
that's awesome.
yeah, are you coming back? Is that something you guys can maybe do again or?
I
Get a
like the
return trip.
trip. I don't know if we would do the first weekend. I just thought
Yeah.
it was going to be great games for us. I'd probably rather play home games to start the year, but I,
Yeah.
I would like. I'm not opposed to doing a trip. I thought it was
Maybe they give you
quality
a
games
return
for
trip.
us, quality games, and yeah,
Yeah.
I talked with Coach Kirby. They may end up coming down here this year and may
Awesome.
flip flop back and forth.
Was that, you said Mac, did y'all play, so you played against Irons, Tony Irons
Yeah, yeah,
or
we
his
went two
squad?
and zero. Fortunately, Three Rivers game went to overtime. Was a really
Yeah.
tough game, and then we were down in the middle area like 10 with about 5 to play, and came back and won the game.
Nice.
So
Nice. Yep.
anyway, well,
I
hey,
knew you
thanks
would.
for having me on. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We appreciate it. Now, you may not be able to say this, but at the end of our podcast, we end everything with "Go Dogs," right, Micah?
We do. We do.
I like it.
And you are who, Micah? You are.
Micah Harris.
I'm Matt Tanner. Thanks for listening to the Doghouse. Go
Go
Dogs.
Dogs.
Oh, shoot.